Ba-ba-da-ba. It's 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday night, January 16th, and we are back again in the Passholder Lounge. Welcome, everyone. If you are joining us live, thank you so much for being here early, part of the early crew. We're going to get into it and have a lot of fun tonight. But before we get started, let us remind you that this show is now once a month, third Tuesday of the month. Set your calendars. You need to go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell, because if you hit the bell to get the notifications on this channel, you will know when we go live, and it won't be it may be a surprise, but it'll remind you at least that we've gone live, and then you can join. You can join the show. You can join the chat. You can be like Lewis and be one of the first people here and say hi. What's up, Cocktail Bob? I see you in the chat already. We're gonna have some fun tonight, and it's more fun with more people here. The more the merrier, they say. At least I think I've heard somebody say that once or twice. So welcome back to the Passholder Lounge. We'll get started officially in just a second. I like to give a few minutes so that people, if they do have the notifications set up, then it gives them a chance to hop on. 8 p.m. Eastern can be a challenging time for some of our people, because we have Passholder Loungers from around the globe who may be on different time zones. But if we go any earlier than this, I can't guarantee I'll be here. And then I just, I have to bribe Landon to just take over the show. Unfortunately, I couldn't do that tonight because he's snowed in at his radio station. I think he's having a week-long sleepover there. They did get a little wintry weather in Knoxville, Tennessee. They got something like 7 or 8 inches, I think, of snow, which when you don't get a lot of snow, that's a lot of snow. And so the whole city will be shut down for days, I'm sure. But we're not shut down here. We've got the doors open. The lights are on. We've got the heater on if you need it. I'm wearing my fancy new fleece. Look at this thing. Ooh, I got it on sale. I'm excited about it. But I am more excited to get this show started. So let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to do the intro for the people who listen on the podcast later, and then we'll bring in our friends and we'll have some fun. Here we go. The Passholder Lounge is open once again, and I'm so excited to welcome you in. Hello, everyone. It's Justin Monorail back once again in the Passholder Lounge. It is January the 16th, and this is our first live happy hour of 2024. If you are new to the Passholder Lounge, welcome. This is a gathering place for people who love to get together, make connections, and talk about things that we love, in particular theme parks. And I love Figment. I love this guy right here. So we may end up talking a little bit about Figment and popcorn buckets that look similar to the building behind me. Similar. I don't know if that was on purpose. It might have been an accident. We'd have to ask the Imagineers at Disney. I don't know if they knew what they were doing. But we're glad you're here. Wherever it is you're joining us from around the world. If you're listening live right now on YouTube or listening later on the podcast feed, thanks for being here. Let's get started. I'm going to welcome in my co-host from my weekly show, the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. She's joining us from North Carolina, where I don't think that they had a snowpocalypse, but she can confirm or deny. Here she is. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Steffers. Hey, Steffers, how you doing?
Hello. It's me. It is not snowed here. It is very cold, though. It's like 17 tonight, I think. So. Also, my suggestive bookmark is in the background. We're just going to ignore it, guys. We'll point it more at Gimli. There we go.
We definitely need Gimli Cam.
There he is.
Yeah.
We don't need me.
This is a benefit. Well, we do need you, Steffers. We absolutely do need you. But a benefit of being here on the live show, watching the feed, or going back later and watching the replay on YouTube, you do get to see Gimli. That's a big benefit.
He's a little burrito tonight because it is chilly.
Yeah. You got the heater on?
We've had the heater on for... No, we've had the heater on. That's the thing that does not come off. But there are days where like it's warmer at night, so I have to turn on the fan. I'm just weird. It's fine. I work here.
So, believe it or not, I actually have the heater set up to come on tonight because it's going to get chilly overnight here in Florida.
Uh-huh. What's chilly?
49. That's cold enough to have the heater on. I think that's what I read.
I think.
I think I did. Maybe I was looking for at a forecast for somewhere else, but I think it's going to get cold.
Well, it's definitely not Landon because Landon has snow.
Yeah, he's snowed in. Did you know, this is a fun fact, the one thing you can't do when you're snowed in at a radio station is do a podcast. Did you know that? I would think that's the one thing you could do when you're snowed in at a radio station. But
I mean, maybe a podcast for the show. But not our podcast.
Oh,
Listen
Cocktail
here.
Bob. Cocktail Bob saying it's going to be colder tonight. Hey, Travis, Lewis, Aurora,
Hello.
Jeffers. Hello, everybody that's in the chat. I'm
I
so
also
glad
have
you're
a drink
here.
today. Like an actual beverage that's of legal age because I am of legal age.
What have you got?
Rum and Coke in honor of my dad today.
Nice. That's wonderful.
It's more rum than Coke, but you know.
Cheers to your dad. Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers, friends.
In his memory. I'm having Milk and Cookies. It's from Wicked Weed, which is a brewery in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It sure is. I'm checking who Facebook user is. Oh, hi, Jeremy.
I think that. Oh, is it Jeremy?
It is. You thought it was someone else, but it wasn't.
I thought it might have been Michael.
Jeremy. Yeah.
Sometimes Michael chimes in the Facebook. Steffers, before we bring in our guests, I just want to say Aurora is chanting that you got to bring back Avengers with Steffers.
You know, Aurora, I'm working on it. However, my first guest we haven't recorded yet, so it'll be coming in the next couple weeks. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
We can confirm that the rumors are true.
Can confirm.
Yeah.
Here first.
Well, before we get on to Avengers with Steffers, let's do tonight's show of the Passholder Lounge. And in order to do that, we're going to welcome in very special guests for this evening. Yes,
I'm so excited because I have questions.
I have questions too, and I hope that they've got answers. I'm sure that they do. Yeah, well, I just love hanging out with these people. They're two of my favorite people in the whole wide world. You'll never meet more kind, sweet, loving, caring people, and they have so much fun. They have one of the best Disney podcasts out there. It comes out on Sundays, and we like to call ourselves the 1-2 punch of Disney podcasts to start your week. It's the Hyperion Adventures podcast, the Monday Morning Monorail podcast, and the hosts are Tom and Michelle. Tom and Michelle, welcome to the Passholder Lounge.
Hello, Justin, Steffers.
Yeah.
I don't think we've been on with you enough, Steffers.
So
it's so good to see you, for sure.
You guys sound like such professional podcasters, I feel like.
We have everybody fooled.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
It's okay. Us too.
Yeah. We're just faking it till we make it.
There you go.
You got to get through it.
That's right.
Every day.
Well, Tom and Michelle, thanks so much for joining us tonight. I know that you're fresh off a trip to the West Coast, so I'm hoping that you have recovered and you've gotten some rest. A little bit.
Getting closer.
Reacclimating to the dramatic switch in time zones again.
Sure. Yeah.
I hate time zones.
The one thing I have to say is doing a Run Disney on the West Coast when you live on the East Coast is a lot easier than doing one on the East Coast.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're already on that time zone change that getting up at, 2:33 a.m. isn't as tough because your body thinks it's closer to 6 a.m.
Of course, trying to stay up to maybe do fireworks or some nighttime activities at the parks, a little bit tougher on the West Coast when you're used to the East Coast.
Yeah, forget about it. I'd be in bed.
Yeah. Let's give it to
I'd be in bed and not running, so that's not.
Well,
that is smart.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I just, my knees, my legs, I can't do all that.
I'm with you, Steffers. But I admire the people that do the Run Disney events. I think they do look really fun, and luckily we have a lot of Run Disney faithfuls as part of the Monorail family, and Tom, Michelle, I hope you know you're part of the Monorail family. I know you don't have Monorail monikers, but you're part of the family, so just be aware.
We appreciate that for sure. That's we always feel welcome. No question.
The door is always open.
The door's always open, and as Landon would say, you both are our favorite members of the Monorail family.
It's true. And I want to say, Michelle, I love your shirt. You got the Real Men Love Frozen shirt. That's beautiful. Is that still available on your t-shirt shop?
That
Absolutely.
is.
All sorts of gear with the Real Man Love hashtag Real Man Love
Yeah,
Frozen
not just t-shirts.
emblem.
Yeah, you got to go get it. People can get there from your website, right? To the merch shop.
You can get there. We have a link tree. It's our Spreadshirt shop. So if you go to spreadshirt.com and look up Hyperion Adventures podcast, we're all there, and all our gear is there, including the Real Man Love Frozen stuff.
Wonderful.
And there is a link from our website too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Might as well get the plugs in.
And the newsletter. Don't forget the newsletter.
It's the best newsletter.
Oh, sure.
It's all Phil and Michelle-ness.
So folks, even though the holiday season has passed us by, it's never too early to start planning for Christmas. It'll be here before you know it. There's a lot of gift giving holidays, and
Valentine's Day, gift to yourself, gift to a loved one.
Yeah.
Like, listen,
it's true.
Make it work.
That Real Man Love Frozen shirt. I mean, we wear it in the parks. It gets so much attention.
Yes.
People love it.
So did you take a Real Men Love Frozen shirt with you to the West Coast and proudly display it at Disneyland?
Of course.
Yeah.
Because it was, well, I mean, again, what Steffers is going through, what Landon's going through, what most of the country's going through, it was pretty frozen for us. Southern Californians turned into Floridians going to the West Coast. It was pretty cold out there. So we had to, real men had to love Frozen when they were out there.
What was the weather like? I didn't know it was cold out there this weekend.
Oh my!
It was dipping into the 40s in the mornings. It was topping out in the low 60s. I mean, it was pretty. It was nice, but it was chilly in the evenings for sure.
That's beautiful and comfortable here.
There were plenty of people who agree with you because we'd walk by the pool and there are people in there and we'd be like,
gosh.
You guys are insane, but I appreciate where you came from. So this is pretty tropical to you right now. I get it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, so had you planned your running gear appropriately? Were you ready for the weather?
Pretty much. Did add a layer and ears, covers.
One thing we've learned in doing Run Disney for several years now is that you kind of got to have running gear where you can adapt to warmer or colder temperatures if you're planning it out ahead of time, where you can add layers, subtract layers, or so it's just kind of one of those things you got to go through because you never are sure of what the weather might be. It could be in the 30s sometimes, it could be in the 70s, and humid. You just don't know.
Yeah.
Sounds like Florida in December.
Yes.
Yeah. And just over a course of a week. So we kind of jumped right into it, but this past weekend was a Run Disney event at Disneyland. What was the official title of this event?
It was the Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend, which is
Disneyland Half Marathon.
It's the return, which they haven't run any races there since November of 2017 was the last race. We were in that weekend as well. And it's been so long since it's been back at Disneyland, and it was a big deal too. They had a lot of gear with the return of Run Disney to the Disneyland Resort, and it was we got, me, I got a little emotional being back on that first race back at Disneyland again.
Yeah.
As did a lot of people. You could feel it in the air that some were obviously new runners, but there were a lot of returning people who were just so thrilled to be back at Disneyland for a Run Disney event. I mean, there's nothing like starting right on Main Street, USA, the original Main Street, USA.
Yeah. Does it make the course a little more challenging because I know the corridors in Disneyland tend to be a little tighter?
Yes.
It's not really a run.
There were a lot of times when we were, moving our arms like we were running, but we really weren't. Because it was just that tight through the first, I think I'd say half of the 5K, which is what we ran.
Right.
I mean, they ran several races. We decided to only do the 5K. We didn't want to stretch ourselves out because we had a lot of stuff going on for this trip to the West Coast, seeing family for the first time again since we moved away, more than a year and a half ago. So we didn't want to make it all about running and all about being exhausted afterwards. So we just did the 5K. But, one thing that's different, and I know this, and I'm sure, like, we tried to connect with Natalie out there, Natalie, member of the Monorail family. But unfortunately, we just could never run into her while we were out there. Our schedules just didn't mesh up. But I know she ran all the races.
Yeah.
The one difference, and congratulations. I guess she set a PR, but so
nice.
But when you're running at the Walt Disney World Resort, you're running through the Walt Disney World Resort. When you're running the half marathon at Disneyland, you're running through the streets of Anaheim.
Right.
So a little bit of a different animal in that regard as to what your experience might be.
Interesting. I didn't even think about that, but that's definitely a good point. Of course, over here in Florida, they've got the blessing of space,
Right.
and so you really aren't dealing with regular lanes of traffic. I mean, there are roads and things like that, but it's a little different. So that's
Right.
wow, that does make it quite different. I wonder if maybe that's why that has to be part of why it's a little more challenging for them to do the events over there, I would think.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, when they originally stopped them, they were building Galaxy's Edge. That took up a big chunk of the park to do that through Disneyland. There's just not a lot of space there to begin with. They were also planning on some other construction in downtown Disney that had to be halted and changed and altered. And there were some disputes going on with not to get in politically, but with the Anaheim leadership going on right there. So they we're going to put a pause on this right now. And then COVID struck. And so they had to put even a longer pause on it. But all that's mostly done. There's still some construction going on at downtown Disney right now, but it was great to have the runs back there for sure. I mean, it's the original.
Is that so that's where Run Disney started?
I don't know if that's where Run Disney started, but it's the original park. I mean, that's where Walt was, you know?
That's true. Yeah. Well, we'll just pretend for now because we're on a podcast. We'll say it started there, and it's good that it's back.
Someone can fact check us later. That's okay.
Don't worry about it.
I have a feeling it didn't start there, but
still. That's a good point. Well, so talk about like the feeling. I know both of you have run a lot of Run Disney races. You mentioned you've done Disneyland before, but and you kind of already touched on it. But I just want to hear from your perspective what it was like being on Main Street and starting that 5K and getting to be part of another Run Disney event at Disneyland.
It was phenomenal. Again, comparing it with Disney World. At Disney World, you come and there's a lot, like you said, a lot of space. So they set up the corrals outside, and it takes a while till you finally into a park. You're starting in Main Street. Your corrals are in Main Street, USA, and so you just right away you're immersed into that, and it just feels fun. And like I said, all the excitement around you. They really do great with the projections on the buildings on Main Street, announcing the race and everything. So it's very themed, and the music is playing. The DJs are announcing everything, and it's just so fun.
Yeah, and that was for the 5K. The other races started in a different location, then immediately went to the parks. But the 5K, we lined up right on Main Street, USA, the castle right in front of us, the partner statue right in front of us, the Matterhorn right next to it, projections on the Matterhorn and all up and down Main Street, USA. It was just a magical way to start the morning and get Run Disney back at Disneyland.
Yeah. That's
a question. The characters, I know they have a bunch at Disney World. That they had characters in Disneyland as well.
Oh yeah, all over the place. Right. This one, the race we ran was Pluto themed, so they had a lot of the various canines throughout the park. Like Bolt was on stage at one spot.
So cute. No one sees Bolt anywhere.
Right. Yeah, and Doug was there, and you could just take pictures throughout it, and there were all sorts of little notes that Pluto left to kind of cheer you on as you went through the race.
Yeah,
it was just kind of fun. Yeah, but Run Disney races always. There's always characters every so often, and it's just fun. The 5Ks. I mean, I know you guys, and I get not wanting to get up early to do this, but you really don't have to run the 5Ks. I mean, you can run a little bit and walk most of it. I mean, we were not in the last corral, but the second to last corral, and there were people lined up for these characters for a long time. Believe me, they weren't rushing anybody along on this course. You could take your time and really, enjoy the park as it was at that time of day.
I just want to take a moment to say, Lewis, we did not ask for a fact check on this. I think we had already said that we said it on a podcast, so it was true. Thank you very much.
I also just wanted to say I was not born yet.
For those listening later, Lewis has helped us out. The first Run Disney race was at Walt Disney World, and it was the Walt Disney World Marathon in '94, which even after I asked the question, I figured that it probably started at Walt
Right.
Disney World, but who knows? You know, like you said, Disneyland's the first park. Maybe they wanted to kick the event off over there, but again, they don't have a lot of space. So,
You said that you don't necessarily have to run, like you can walk the 5Ks. So say me and Justin wanted to do the 5K next.
I didn't say that.
I said say hypothetical, Justin, hypothetical, just go along with the bit. Like what would you suggest in terms of like training or like preparing to partake in said 5K potentially, maybe if I
Walk
you know.
around Epcot 3 times.
Yeah, you got it. That's a 5K right there. Yeah, I mean, walk through the parks. You're doing more steps through the parks in a
Right.
day than you'll ever do in a 5K. That's for sure. And I mean,
Ah.
if you can just move a little bit, run a little bit, and then walk at a brisk pace, you're okay. But I mean, even if not, I mean, the 5K, they really don't. I mean, they don't want you lollygagging so much that you're there when the parks are open. But they're not rushing you as much. The 10K is the half marathon. They, those are a little longer races. They want to move people along a little bit quicker. So they're a little bit more that you're supposed to be running a 16-minute mile pace, which if you walk briskly, you're going at about an 18-minute per mile pace. So if you run a little bit and walk a little bit, you can hit that 16-minute mile pace, even on those races. But for the 5K, they don't really, they say it, but they don't really police it nearly as much.
Yeah.
I mean, I have little legs and I already overcompensate my steps because I have very tall friends. So I'm
I
just
know what that
saying
means.
if Justin here just hypothetically, wanted to buddy do a 5K, I'd consider it.
I don't know. I don't think so.
You can do it for charity.
Come on,
It'd be so
Justin.
cute.
Come on. You want to do it. The problem is, Justin, you do it once, it's very addictive.
Well, honestly, that's part of the problem.
Yeah. You may get stuck in it. Like so many, you hear it. It's so funny because we go to the expo the day before and you hear everybody. They're like, oh, it's so early. Oh, you have to get up. And yet these are the same people that are there for every single race,
Yeah.
So there is something to that. Yes, you're putting through your body through some pain. The waking up at so early to be out there.
That's the hardest part.
But the joy and the energy you feel when you're out on the course, it's not like any other race you'll ever run or many other things you'll do in your life.
I mean, okay, listen. I think we get Natalie.
Stop making a plan right now. Stop it. I'm gonna nip this in the bud.
Okay, fine. If Natalie will agree to do one with me, then I will do it on behalf of the Monorail fam because Justin is a weenie.
I am. Aurora's over here saying they're going to peer pressure me. Look, Natalie and Mars have been doing that for a couple of years now. So far, they haven't broke me. I've always said that, like, if we ended up finding a good reason to do it, like a charity fundraiser kind of thing,
reason.
Then it's possible my arm could get twisted, but I'm just not encouraging that. I'll raise money doing other things. Can't we bring back the ice bucket challenge? I'll do that.
You do the ice bucket after you do the 5K. There you go. You're all set.
I will say that sometimes they really do tempt me with the themes. I didn't know, obviously about the Disneyland half that it was a Pluto theme. That would have been enticing to me because Pluto's my favorite. And so that little bit. But if they ever were to bring back the Star Wars weekend Run Disney event, there's a chance that might be the one that I would consider.
Yeah,
that's all.
Because you'd have to get that medal, that really sweet looking medal.
I know the medals are always so cool.
Pluto moves on our medal.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
They look high quality at least. When they did during COVID, they did the virtual Run Disney events, and I got very close to doing one of those, and then I didn't because I could have done it on my own time.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Oh, I would have. I don't know. If there's a Mulan anything, I'm there. I gotta think I gotta think of the different things. Even a Figment thing, I think I'd be there. You know, I gotta get my life together here. It's fine. I'm plotting. Peer pressuring.
Yeah, I mean, training is good, especially if you're trying to make, a great time, make your speed to be the driving factor. But if you're just there to enjoy that experience, the 5K is not that challenging.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not. You should,
yeah.
I mean, if you're going to run the 10 or definitely the half
Right.
marathon
That you have
or
to
the
do.
marathon or all of them, as some have done, including Natalie,
Yeah.
you will need to train for
Mhm.
those. But the 5K, a little bit.
Yeah. If you're used to going
just get out
around
and
in the
walk
parks,
around
yeah.
and maybe jog
Same.
a little bit here and there, but you don't really need to do too much.
Yeah, I walk on the treadmill every day at
You're
like
good.
a 12 incline, and that's as far as
There you
You're
all
good.
my little
You're
legs will
set.
go.
Yeah, you're ahead of me
Yourself.
then, Steffers.
Listen,
Your
I'm
training
trying
is
to
already underway.
I'm trying to, be active instead of sitting in this chair all day long. So 30 minutes. I'm just
Nice.
saying.
That's really good.
Good.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you just did the 5 this time. Is there another Disneyland event in the works? Do we know if another one's planned?
Halloween.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're doing their first ever Halloween, first ever that I know of Halloween race weekend coming up this fall.
See, that's not fair.
Hold on a second.
That's not fair because already, last year I had the wild hair that I was going to try to get like an Oogie Boogie ticket and do a 24-hour trip to the West Coast and go do that and come back. If I could somehow guarantee that I could get an Oogie Boogie ticket and possibly do a 5K, maybe I would do it.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, look, Natalie's here. She showed up to pressure.
Oh,
She
hi,
showed up to
Natalie.
pressure me. She's here.
You know what's funny?
Hi,
that you say
Natalie.
that.
Sorry we missed you.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, Justin. I just booked a trip to the West Coast.
Oh, you did? When are you going?
August. But according to this, the Halloween half is September 5th to the 8th. So it unfortunately won't align with whenever you
No.
whenever you go over there for that Oogie Boogie Halloween half marathon time.
If
No. When? You
Is
gotta
it-
speak in
have
absolutes.
they already sold this one out? I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. Did they already start selling it? And it's already
Natalie?
Not yet.
No.
I won't say yet.
Oh, there you go.
It's time.
Oh man, what have I gotten myself? I need to stop talking now. So while you all were
You need to stop talking on your podcast. Your
Yeah, just about
YouTube show. Yeah.
me doing any kind of Run Disney anything.
Gotcha.
No, so while you all were in California, I know you did a couple of other fun things outside of the parks. Did you also visit the Walt Disney Studios?
Yes, we did.
That's awesome.
Jealous.
Yeah, that's
It
definitely
is.
on the bucket list. What was that like?
It's a great tour. You get to really see the history and be in these hallowed grounds and experience something that you would never feel any other place. And of course, being able to go into Walt's office, seeing the piano that was used for Feed the Birds, and and as they said, the office has been reset up to what 96% of when
it's
Walt
pretty close to
was
100%
last there.
for
Yes.
Walt's last days in the office. Yeah.
It's just, and seeing the things that were important to him and what he surrounded himself with, and it's just really cool. And obviously it'd be what you would expect. It would be family, it would be things that reminded him of the park. It was the bird that made him think of audio animatronics and things like that. And it's just really super special. Seeing the sound stage where Mary Poppins was filmed, and
20,000 Leagues Under the
20,000 Leagues
Sea.
Under
And
the
when they were
Sea.
creating a lot of the attractions for Disneyland itself, they created them there in some of those areas and then hauled them up the 5 freeway to Disneyland. It's just, it's all the things you've seen in, I don't know, Saving Mr. Banks when they're there on the lot, or if you've seen The Reluctant Dragon, or, any of the other things that have been shot there within the lot. It's just, the animation building where the 9 old men were creating all these wonderful shorts and films that we love. It's just, it's mecca for Disney fans. I mean,
Right. Getting to the archives, getting to see the machinery that they created to be able to film Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs to look so much more realistic and so much more depth to it. Holding a real award in your
holding an
hand.
Oscar.
Yeah.
Yes, an actual Oscar.
That's
Disney.
I saw that picture.
Yeah. I mean, it's just something special. And it's nice that most people can do it now. I mean, you just have to be a D23 member, and you don't even need to be the gold member where you pay for it. You can be the free member, and you just happen to be in the West Coast area at some point when they're doing the tours. You sign up for it. You pay a little more if you're not a gold member or a gold duo member. You pay a little less if you are a gold member, but pretty much anybody can do it. And it's really, really worth your time as a Disney fan to check it all out for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah. Like I said, that's definitely on my Disney parks and Disney in general loving bucket list. And anytime I see somebody do it, I'm jealous.
If you haven't seen The Reluctant Dragon, that's a really great film to watch before going to the studios, because you're actually seeing that same campus.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's everyone's homework assignment.
Yeah.
Go watch The Reluctant Dragon. Now, a few weeks ago, you had a pretty special episode of your podcast. We'll do a little plug for your podcast here. Over on Hyperion Adventures podcast, you had a conversation with Dan Abraham and Trent Corey, who were responsible for the Once Upon a Studio short. So now, did you have a chance to meet up with either one of those guys while you were at the studio?
Yeah, we did actually.
Oh,
yeah, we actually got to meet Dan. Unfortunately, Trent wasn't available that day, but he was there, and he is just as gracious as you saw him on our podcast, or if you've seen him on other films talking about that project that they did. Just a warm, wonderful person.
Yeah, we got, it was actually a special invitation. We happened to mention to them when we were interviewing them off the air that we were going to be there, and like just saying, hey, if we happen to see you walking around, we'd like to shake your hand, we'd like to say hi. And they're like, some people that were connected with them, they're like, you know what, you should come on over and check this up. So we worked on some things, set some things up, and this isn't part of the tour that you can normally go on where we got to go. The Disney Animation Building is not usually open to most people. So it was really, really super special for us to be invited to this and be able to check out that building and to meet Dan, who is a genuinely fantastic person. He had a meeting we went there at 10 a.m. He had a meeting at 10:30, but he walked with us for about 25 minutes through as we were touring the building and was explaining to us where they shot things for Once Upon a Studio, where some of the artwork played in, what a lot of the stuff was. And it was really, really special.
Yeah. And he was so sweet. He was like taking our phones and taking pictures of us there and everything. And like I said, you couldn't expect anybody more gracious about what he was able to do. And it was so cute. Just seeing he's just like a kid in the candy factory, just so thrilled that he's working there, that he had that project, that he got to connect with people, that have had such history with the company, and to feel that is something so unique, and he appreciates that. You could tell he really did understand that he was blessed by what has happened.
That's always great to hear. Like, you never know when you meet people, the people behind the things that you love, if they're going to disappoint you or really surprise you with how wonderful they are. So it's great to hear. And again, if you haven't listened to that episode of Hyperion Adventures podcast, go check it out. It was great. Every episode with Tom and Michelle is great, but that's a special one, and definitely go check that out for sure. So what would you say was a highlight of this West Coast trip? Because you had a lot of highlights. There were a lot of really great things.
We
What,
did.
what was your
Yeah, because
favorite?
we even got to do the holidays still. We
Oh,
were
yeah.
at Disneyland for the last day of all the holiday festivities
Wow.
and got to do a tour, a holiday tour, and see the parade in a reserved area, and almost watched fireworks.
Almost watched fireworks. It got
Yeah.
a little cold.
Yeah.
Plus, it was
too
windy, so I don't even think the fireworks went off that night, because that's the one problem with Southern California is if the winds kick up, it's just a projection show, at night, because they're not going to be responsible for starting one of those crazy wildfires out there.
Right. Yeah.
But there was just so many things. I mean, the big thing was we got to go out and see family,
Right.
which is it's been a long time since we've seen them. So it was great to spend some quality time with them. Disney wise, oh gosh,
when the bar is really high and it's just things are a little higher than other, it's like there was not a low point, so it's so hard to say what was the high point. They were so many high points.
Right. I will say this, another great thing was getting to stay at the new DVC villas at the Disneyland Hotel, and checking those out for the first time, because they had just opened up a few months ago. So we got to stay there for a few nights and seeing how that is laid out. And it is a stunning addition to the Disneyland Hotel. The artwork, the little touches, DVC really got it right with that tower, in my opinion. Yeah.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
And their pool area is just adorable. And they have great food at their pool bar. I mean, we actually went there for dinner with Tom's mother one night. It was just, it's kind of that nice. I mean, I'm not saying it's elegant, but it's elevated pool than food than what you would think at a pool bar.
We love an elevated pool bar.
Yeah.
I'm on board for that. That's what we're here for.
Exactly. I usually just get nachos at the pool bar, so
yeah. Which is still good.
Still very delicious. Yes, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to what's happening right now and looking ahead, the Epcot Festival of the Arts has officially kicked off for 2024 for a limited time only. And I was curious, will you, Tom and Michelle, be able to make it out to the Epcot Festival of the Arts this year?
Yes.
Yes.
We will absolutely be there on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. We already have our list.
That's exactly what I was about to ask you, Michelle.
Yeah, foods that we must try.
Always lays it out.
What we're going to hit
spreadsheets.
Oh,
PowerPoint presentation. Yeah,
the planning, it's so no one does it better than Michelle. I'll tell you that for sure.
Got pictures to make sure, like, yes, we definitely want to eat that.
Oh yeah. I was definitely taken aback when I got to go to I think it was Flower and Garden that was going on when I met up with you all in Epcot the last time that I think we got to spend time in Epcot. And when I tell you all, Michelle had a festival passport that had the tiny sticky notes with the little flags all through the passport and things underlined and marked, the list of how much things cost, just, everything that she had to try. It was, and she handed, I still have it. I kept it because I was like, I want to put this in a shadow box or something. This is a collector's item. It's amazing. And because I think I'm a planner, and I always tell people, if you're going to go to the parks and try to do a festival, you have to. You've got to look ahead. You've got to make your hit list. You've got to do, because you're going to miss stuff. And don't be the person that leaves the park disappointed. Well, I'll tell you this, Michelle's never going to be that person.
Y'all are so kind.
It sounds like how all of my books are.
Excellent.
All 30 that Steffers has read this year.
I know.
I've only read 9 this year. Let's calm down.
That's impressive.
I know. Very, very impressive.
I've read 9 in the last 9 years.
That's 9 more than me. So
I'm trying to reach my 100 books for 2024 goal.
Yeah, I know.
Well underway.
Yeah, and you inspired Justin to try to reach some goals with reading as well. So that's great.
I'm going to read. I'm going to read, you all. I'm going to try to read.
You can read while you're doing your 5K.
Do you know what? You know what will really inspire me? Back when I
Oh,
was
no.
in elementary school, if we read like a certain amount of books, we got a personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut.
Ooh.
So,
you go.
Steph,
I will buy you a personal pan
Oh.
pizza from Pizza Hut. If
how
you
many books do I
read
have to read? How many books?
Five, but like
5.
Ah,
in like a
was
6-month
on it
period. I'll give
easy.
you.
5 in
I'll
6
give you.
months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never
That's
Little
gonna
doable.
do
golden books, Justin. Little golden books.
that. Can I
Has to
pick
be
them
at
from like
least
the young adult list?
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, hold on. Young adult books can be like 300 pages.
It's
So
true.
Yeah.
yes, you can. It has to be at least 150 pages.
Okay. Those were the good old days. I think that program was called Book It, if I remember right.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think all I got was like a sticker when I was reading the book.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I had to
personal
take,
pan pizza sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to take tests, and then if you get like X amount of points, you can get like a little statue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
I never got a statue because I never got anywhere near those points, I'm sure. But
It wasn't that great. It was just like a little how many points you had, your name on it. It was a little star, and then as you get older, you're like, I don't need this in my tchotchke bin, so I got rid of it.
so you check it. The thing I do regret is because back in those days, Pizza Hut actually used to have some pretty cool collectibles. And one of the things that they had were they had these little rubbery hand puppets for the Land Before Time. And I definitely had, I didn't have all of them, I don't think, but there was like a T-Rex, there was Littlefoot, there was
Wow.
Sarah. And I think I had those 3. I think Petrie was one of them. You remember Petrie? Do you know Land Before Time, Steffers?
Yes, very
Okay.
vaguely, but yes, I
Vaguely?
yes, it was a thing. Yeah, well, it was
There were
like
100 movies. They made them
Yeah.
forever.
that's what I'm saying. I owned one of them.
Nice.
Don't ask me which one.
Aurora's got her fingers crossed. I'm going to be reading books and running 5K. It's like a whole new
That's
Dustin.
Listen, I will even accept an audiobook, but you have to do an audiobook while doing your 5K. That's the only time you're allowed. And then I will get you 2 pan pizzas if you do the 5K with the audiobook.
Whoa.
Think about that.
Okay. See, now this is interesting because we were debating this at work. I don't know that I consider audiobooks reading.
I can't comprehend an audiobook for the life of me. So I don't consider that reading, which is funny considering how fast I read, but I can't have someone tell me the words. I won't comprehend what's happening.
I feel like
Interesting.
I don't know.
Unless it's a self-help book, then like maybe I need someone to tell me. It's like a therapy session, but like a normal, like I need to understand the plot and the characters. I can't.
Yeah,
Okay.
my
I've
mind
tried.
drifts on audiobooks. The only time I was ever
Yeah.
able to do an audiobook was when I was doing those crazy cross country drives. Sometimes when I could never get Scott to just sit there and listen to an
Yeah.
audiobook, but if it was just me, then it was all right on the road. And then I could pay attention to it. But if I'm listening to it at home or out for a walk or whatever, my
Yeah.
mind's going
Oh,
and
you're
I'll
thinking of everything.
completely
Right.
lose what's going on with the
Yeah.
book. Yeah.
See, that's what happens when I have a book in my hands.
Mhm.
I need to, I
Hi,
got
Michael. Welcome. We were looking for you earlier.
Okay,
Yeah.
now Natalie makes a good point. She says it's that audiobooks are an accessible way to read. Now this I will agree with. That is
very
true.
Mhm.
I just hear people say all the time they like commute to work and they're listening to books and they're like, "Oh, I read however many books last year." And then they tell me it was because they were commuting. I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to count that for you."
I would
mean-
do a reread audio. I would not do a whole new book that I've never read before
Yeah.
on audio.
I don't know. Anyway.
The books the audio books that are almost like radio dramas,
Oh, those are great.
those are good. Like those because as a guy who loved radio, was in radio for a long time, I love radio dramas. So something like that where there's multiple characters involved, it's different than a book. It's more like that kind of thing, So
Yeah.
but it's not reading. It's not reading to me now. Totally get the accessible
Yeah.
angle to it. And for sure, for so many people out there, it is the only way they can access these books. And it's very important for sure.
See, dramatized, I think, would make it better. Like, I think, like, having the different characters, but also, like, the dramatized, like, you got to give me some emotion here. Come on. What do you mean?
give it to me like you mean it.
Yeah.
Please don't cut that out and use that for other purposes.
Add it to
Or
that little
do it.
that screenshot you posted earlier on social media and put those two together.
Right?
And you got
There
a
you go.
perfect Photoshop.
Oh no.
Now I would say that ramen gave it to me like it meant it. I'll tell you that. That was good stuff.
Oh my goodness.
I love some good ramen. So Tom and Michelle, as we sort of reach near the end of the Passholder Lounge for today, do you have anything coming up on the Hyperion Adventures podcast you'd like people to have a little preview into?
Well, we're continuing. We're midway through our discussion, our recap of our Disneyland trip. We will go more into detail. We went into detail last week of the holiday stuff that we just did.
Mhm.
Wrapping up the holidays at Disneyland and some of the various things we were able to take in, including a little bit of a star sighting while we were
Yep,
there
yep.
across from us while we were sitting there.
Oh,
Wolverine.
Person from the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
wait, it had to be Ant-Man if it was a little person.
No.
Well, he
Casual.
wasn't that little. He's an X-Man. He was sitting right across from us at the parade, and
Wow.
he's also the greatest showman as well. Yeah.
Wow.
Hugh Jackman was right there in front of
What?
us, and so yeah, it was pretty cool.
That is really cool.
I fangirled a little bit, or a lot,
I
as
would
Michelle will
too.
tell you. Yeah.
I would too.
But that was pretty cool. But we discussed a lot of the holiday stuff that was going on there, and of course the entire tour and the special tour we got to take. And then this week we're gonna do the second half of the trip, which included some more trips, more visits to Disneyland, the Run Disney race, and the visit to the villas at the Disneyland Hotel. Kind of recap all that.
Yeah.
And
Excited to
then
hear about that.
we're also doing the Festival of the Arts,
Right.
including Disney on Broadway with hashtag Real Men Love Frozen.
Whoop, whoop.
Some of the original stars of Frozen on Broadway. We're going to be taking that all in as well. So we'll be talking about that in the following week. And we got lots of good stuff coming up.
Yeah, we have some guests lined up. We
Mhm.
have Tony the Disney Dad who's going to be joining us.
Hey.
Yeah, we have a great topic that we're going to be discussing with him. We actually have two series kind of going, not as methodical as some of our past ones, but we have a series on the castles, the
Mhm.
Disney castles in the parks, and then we also have one that we're doing of if attractions from other countries that we wish were here.
Oh yeah,
And where would we put them?
like Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Yes.
Yes.
I pulled that a couple weeks ago just out
Yeah.
of thin air because I was trying to come up with
You did.
something.
Yeah.
I remember.
I was like, hey, there's one in my head.
That's right.
That's exciting. That'll be very fun.
And you never know what might else pop up. We've made some connections now. So
Mhm.
you never know. Something else might.
Oh,
Show
what a
up by
tease.
one week.
What a tease. That's very
What? We love that. We love a
Yeah.
tease though.
well. Thank you all so much. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm glad to hear that your California weekend went so well. I'm glad you're back and getting rested up, and looking forward to hopefully we can connect while you're in town for the Festival of the Arts.
Hopefully.
Yeah. It's going to be gross this weekend, just FYI.
Yes,
I
we know.
know.
We were like, the cold weather followed us back from California.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. But we'll make do. We were bundling up all in week in California. We'll bundle
Yeah.
up here. And
Yep.
About the same temperature as what we were experiencing out there.
nothing's
so.
keeping me from a sushi donut or five.
Yeah, I know.
I'm telling you that right now.
Now
Yeah,
I'm
or some
hungry.
raclette cheese. Mm.
And
Yeah.
the France Pavilion has a lot of new things at their kiosk this
Lots
year.
of
You know.
salmon this year.
Yeah, the
Lots of
duo,
salmon.
hot and cold.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a nice video flip through of the booklet. I just want everyone to know I'm going to be expecting that. You also can even like maybe sell a template of like
There you
how to
go.
plan. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Yeah.
Probably can make that happen,
Maybe,
Steppers.
maybe that's our next YouTube video.
Yeah.
There you go. $1 million ideas.
There it is. Thank you, Stephers. We'll give you credit.
Thanks. As long as I'm in the footnotes, I'm good.
There you go. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I want to thank you, Tom and Michelle, again for being with us tonight. This was so much fun. If you all are looking for high quality Disney podcast content and blogs and newsletters and merch, you need to check out Tom and Michelle and Hyperion Adventures podcast. They are wonderful. And you really, I mean, you want to talk about it's an honor that I'm even mentioned in a breath with their podcast, because we've been saying we're the 1-2 punch for the Monday Morning Monorail and the Hyperion Adventures for a long time. So Steffers and I, we're very proud of that designation, and we probably don't deserve it, to be honest, because we talk about things like milking Figment, and that's just
listen. You say one thing on a podcast, and it just takes off.
No, it's good to have that blend and have that variety.
That's right. That's a good way to put it.
There we go.
Yeah, you don't want to have anything one note. It's just...
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, variety is the spice of life, and
that's right.
It is the spice of the Festival of the Arts.
Or if you're talking about Figment's milk, apparently it's Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops, maybe.
Fruit Loops milk. It is the milk after you eat the Fruit Loops. I'm just I'm not wrong. I promise.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I'll get a shameless plug in here for the Monday Morning Monorail Discord while we're at it, because Jeffers had a great idea about what we could do with Figment milk, in that he suggested we create a Figment mint milkshake, because then you've got the mint in Figment, and he was like, but it would need to have a treat on top. And I rejected the idea that it should be a donut, because I don't think Disney knows how to do donuts. They're always disappointing.
Fig and mint, that's awfully Mediterranean combination.
Well, you're reading my mind, Tom. So I said, why not a nice big Fig Newton on top of that mint milkshake? And and that's the combo. Fig mint. Disney,
or lamb.
We're doing your job for you.
Lamb chop. Put a lamb chop on.
A lamb chop, a Fig mint lamb chop. There you go. Oh, now I feel bad. That's like eating Figment. That's even worse.
Oh no.
We're really digressing here.
That's all right.
Oh yes. And the Zaddy references are key. Also, thank you, Aurora, for pointing that out. I'm so happy you did.
Well, thank you all for joining us here on the Passholder Lounge tonight. It's been a wonderful time with all of you. If you are listening later on to the playback, whether it be through the podcast feed or on YouTube, you got to join us live. This is where the fun happens. The more the merrier. You get to hang out with people like Tom and Michelle and Steffers, and I'm here too. But we love to have you. Whether you're hearing the replay or watching us later on YouTube or here with us right now, we really appreciate you. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to be back in February. Remember, it's the third Tuesday of the month, and that is going to be the 20th. So
also, don't forget that this year is a leap year.
It's a leap year. We get an extra February day. That's right.
That's all I got for you.
Yeah. So, but I hope you all have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.